Okay, so I've been pondering the question for a minute or two. The question is, what is greatness? Now, I guess we'll just do this like dialectically, Socratically, whatever you want to call it. Um, the first kind of definition is that you achieve a lot in your life. You make a ton of money, you travel the world, you have kids, have a family, um, become a millionaire, maybe own a lot of property, maybe you achieve a shit ton of status, you, etc. A lot of people, I think, would see that as greatness. Maybe they have a PhD, they make 250k a year in a field that they love. Okay, but then you could say if that's all greatness is, then what about if they're depressed, stressed every day of their life? They're not a nice person to be around. So then we can come to having spiritual greatness, clarity of mind, tranquility. Okay. Then what about if their pursuits are in something that is not deductive, like deductive? Something that detractory. Something that detracts from like the goodness of mankind, from the well-being of the earth. Maybe they're super happy and really calm and stuff, and they're making millions and they've got a nice family, but maybe they're the head of an oil company. Maybe that can be seen as, having a negative growth, negative net product, whatever. Okay, so he's materially prosperous. He's spiritually prosperous, and let's say he's working for a positive cause. It's charitable, having a net positive on mankind and the earth. Is he great? Potentially. But what about somebody who's born into, let's say, slavery? Because that still exists somewhere, or they were subject to torture, or can they not be great? So potentially greatness is subjective, and it depends on the person, the subject of that greatness, the object of that greatness, the person whom we're talking about when we talk about that instance of greatness. So I don't really know entirely what greatness is, but I would say it's an actualization of that self, insofar as that self can be actualized, which I guess is kind of the same for everyone. Everyone can be actualized, but it just varies infinitely in degrees. Example, I don't know if I'm happy with that, because I think there could be some essence that I'm missing. I think the basis for greatness is potentially, and I'm only saying this because this is obviously a reflection of my current mindset, what I would like to achieve, to feel great, but I'd say potential greatness is moderation in action, moderation in, eating, in terms of, positive and negative actions, self-acceptance. So, trying to dissolve as much of your inner conflict as possible, as many of your inner conflicts as possible. Examples of great people? I have no idea. Oh yeah, what is the opposite of greatness? If it's weakness, then what is weakness? I guess victimhood, accepting, subjecting yourself to other people and authority at all times, not questioning things, stamping out your curiosity, belittling yourself. I guess basically just divorcing yourself from your sense of autonomy completely. Maybe that's the opposite. I don't know who. I don't really know any. Can't really think of many examples of great people. Maybe people like Joaquin Phoenix. Seems like a good cunt. He's done narration for like vegan documentaries, so I'd say he has an interest in ecology and preserving Earth. He seems to be a solid person. His pursuits have borne fruit. Other examples, maybe Russell Brand. He went for a long bout of addiction, and now he seems to be pretty enlightened or woke, and he's trying to do a lot of good. Maybe that constitutes greatness. So it's not just being a kind, warm, gentle spirit. That sounds a bit cliche, but yeah, it's not just that. I guess you don't really have to be materially successful. I think it depends on the individual. Maybe if you're a monk, then that material success could be kind of a negation of not pursuing X, Y, and Z material thing. I'd say society generally tries to curb and allay any person's endeavouring toward greatness, generally. Maybe that's because of the structure of society, in that if everyone was kind of at their own... I don't know. Jesus, that's a hard one, because I think people do want to kind of be enslaved by something, because people are scared to some extent of freedom, I believe. You want some guide to direct them, here and there, hither and thither. But at the same time, having a capitalist society does enable, to an extent, we have a capitalist society. I can't remember what it's called in England anyway. Like capitalist democracy, whatever the fuck. I don't know. I don't know about those political words, but maybe that's what it is. Capitalist democracy, and yeah, it enables people to achieve. But I guess there's so much, red tape and so many barriers that it's very difficult. I don't know. But I'd say generally it tries to curb people's attempts toward greatness. But then at the same time, it tells everyone that they have as much freedom as possible, and they'll put down reasons as to why they have so many possibilities. But one example as to why they might not have those possibilities that they are told they have is, for example, the rise of the internet age, and it's great and it enables so much freedom, but at the same time you've got to take in the psychological aspect of never before have we been able to compare ourselves to so many people and thus end up feeling kind of shit about ourselves, which kind of generally consequences in a person's not desiring to strive because they feel it's kind of futile when there are already thousands out there better than them. Just one example of the negative impacts of our current age, I guess. Why do I criticise myself but not others? I don't know. Because I'm just so wrapped up in myself, and I see myself as potentially having quite a few problems, and I'm just quite ignorant of... Yeah. I'll think about that one for a second. Actually, I'll put this in a second video. The remaining questions.